everybody. How are we today? Wow, it's Sunday, and that means it's time for us to look at our parenting postcards and have a little think about how our week has been. But before I talk about the postcard, which I have got here, I want you to look at the card there on my right hand side, which is Daniel's Den's Snipathon at 3 o'clock this afternoon. One of our amazing volunteers, Linda, is going to do something epic. She is cutting off 26 inches of her hair, and this is the launch of our 26-day Snipathon. And we have families and friends snipping things, people, hair, grass, horses' feet, dogs' toenails, babies' fingernails, paper, fabric, you name it, people are doing it. And just keep abreast of what's going on today. I don't want to deluge too much, and my brain, oh my gosh, it's so full of ideas. I need to snip a few of those out of there. And where my hair will need snipping soon anyway. But just to highlight that, so if you see things on social media, please do share. That would be absolutely fantastic, because what is our motto? I don't think we've even mentioned our motto once during lockdown, but my gosh, am I seeing it played out, and it's part of our logo, and it is the word team. Team spells together, everyone achieves more. And that is an absolute thread. If we had a stick of rock with a word going through it, that is what Daniel's Den is all about: teamwork. It's a cliche, teamwork makes the dream work. But we live that, and we are seeing dreams fulfilled. I have heard the most incredible stories this week of relationships being mended, of worried hearts being put at peace. I've heard of people who are in pain being supported through prayer and practical help. It just cheers my heart to see the teamwork in Daniel's Den and in the world and in our communities really being played out. And I guess that's a really great way to introduce our sixth parenting postcard, which is the 4 magic words to teach your children. Now, children learn language before they're even born. Even when they're in your womb, they can hear sounds, they can hear music, and there's lots of evidence around for that. And we want to nurture our children with the words that we say. And we talked a little bit about that last week, about being a positive role model. And these 4 magic words, children learn language from us. And as I said, they learn it in the womb, and from the day they're born, we speak to them, we talk to them, and they may not be able to speak back in words that we understand, but that cry, that smile, that gurgle, they are communicating with us. And right from the start, we can model and teach these 4 magic words. And the 4 magic words are hello, goodbye, please, and thank you. It's not rocket science, is it? I remember Felicity Scroggy, a vicar at a local church, once coming to Daniel's Day and saying, it's not rocket science, is it? But it works. And it's so true. Sometimes things are so simple and so obvious that sometimes we just take it for granted. But actually, we do have a role to play. And it says on our card, manners make the world go round. If you teach your children to be polite, people will enjoy being with them. And that is so, so true. And actually, it reminds me of a comment that was passed to me that I think actually is one of the inspirational comments that's inspired the start of Daniel's Den. And I used to be a teacher before I had my children. I was a teacher in a primary school in Brent. Loved every minute of it. It was a real great challenge and joy. But I remember having a reception class once, and a parent on the first day sort of pushing their child into the class, and they said, Mrs. Gordon, you need to give my child some manners. And I remember being really, really shocked that they expected me as the teacher to give their child manners. And I don't know whether it was my face or what it was, but that phrase really resonated. Mrs. Gordon, give my child some manners. I don't believe it's the school's job to give our children manners. I don't think it's the nursery's job, and I don't think it's the government's job. I think it's we as families and as parents, it's our job to encourage and teach our children manners. It says on the card, these words need to be taught and modelled. It may take a long time, but keep at it. Do not worry if your children don't say hello to strangers or hello to family. Yes, it's something we want them to do, and I think it's good to sort of encourage it, but don't demand it rigidly, but just model it. As you say hello to people and goodbye, your children will see that and they'll want to do it. I have to say, I really am missing everyone at Daniel's Den. And I think particularly of a couple of groups that I run, where the children had just got into that habit of coming and giving you a high five or saying, hi, Joe, or just coming in and wanting to say hello and then wanting to wave goodbye. At Daniel's Den, we have a very big thing at the end of each session that the session leader or a volunteer stands at the door to say goodbye. And we really believe our welcome and our goodbye are two of the most important times because it sets the tone. So it's all about modelling hello and goodbye. How do you say hello to people? I think we're having to get very many challenges, aren't we, with the lockdown of how to say hello to people when we can't actually physically see them. And I think these video calls and Facebook Lives and things like that are fantastic. But how are you modelling hello and goodbye in the lockdown? And please and thank you. Again, do not demand this of your children if you don't do it yourself. Things to think about. How are you teaching the 4 magic words to your children? And it says something to do. Even if your child is very young, let them hear you using these words throughout the day. Keep persevering. And I think that thing about please and thank you. Yeah, I think I was really brought up with it, and I'm really glad I was. I think those manners are just so important, and it really stands out if somebody asks for something and they don't say please. If they say give me the glue, I just find it abrupt. And I think using please and thank you cannot be overdone. I remember when my children were little and I was with a very, very good friend, and we're still very, very good friends. I remember her saying, just stop insisting your children say please and thank you. And maybe, I don't know whether I was nagging or whatever I was doing, but I just said, no, I really think it's important that our children say these words because it will stand them in good stead. And it was really funny. I was watching TV with my daughter, who's living with me at the moment, yesterday, and something had happened where someone was telling a lie. And I'm not saying my daughter's perfect, none of us are perfect, but she said, oh, Mum, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And I think we want to ingrain a sense of morality in our children. Oh my gosh, children tell lies, adults tell lies. Maybe that's a bad example. But we want to instill something in them that if they don't say please or they don't say thank you, that somehow or other it's not complete. And I know lots of you are just fantastic at modelling this with your children. And in fact, as I'm talking now, I think of many sessions where my aim is always to say hello to everybody, but sometimes I miss it. And I apologise if you've been to a session and I haven't said hello. And I can't wait to say hello to you again and to your children. But these 4 words are really, really important. And it says, Daniel's Den, our motto is team. Does anybody know what team stands for? Together, everyone achieves more. TEAM. And again, we want people to model that, whether it's in the welcoming, the smiling, the tidying up, that children learn from you. They copy you, and you are a role model. I don't know how that makes you feel. It scares me sometimes. but we are role models for our children. And this afternoon, I think Linda's doing an amazing thing. And we often say this about tidying up, that if you tidy up, your children will copy you. And oftentimes at Daniel's Den, it's the opposite. The children are the first to tidy up, and sometimes the adults just sit there and don't do anything. So it works two ways, and we need to be role models. And this afternoon, Linda is sacrificing 26 inches of her hair to raise funds for Daniel's Den. What a role model she is for her daughters, her granddaughter, the volunteers and the families and the community. I know somebody said to me, oh, you should wait till the end and have that as the grand finale. And I went, no. I said, Linda is leading by example right off, and I respect her for that. And I think that's something that we should be doing with our children, that let's invest in these early years in their lives. The simple manners, please and thank you, hello and goodbye. Let our children be light bearers, to be make a difference in society, in your families, with your friends, in their nurseries, in their schools. Our prayer is that as we invest in our children, that they will be able to develop fuller. And I do believe that people with really great manners, some people may disagree with me on this, but I do think they'll go further in life. Anyway, that's the end of my thoughts for today on Postcard Parenting 6. And I'm just going to end this video by holding something up that Funny Bunny has made. Go, Linda. I'm so proud of you, what you're doing with your hair. Go, Linda. So, guys, we'll see you hopefully later at 3 o'clock or for our next session at 10:45. Thank you. Bye.